Just because it's happening today, let's talk about the Providence Teachers Union plans to set up on the State House lawn a mock classroom to show that they believe that they can't fit the 29 students in there, wanting to send a message to you. What's your message to them who feel that we can't do this?
Yeah, so we've been working all summer in Providence to make sure that it's safe for everybody to go back. Because the cases are a little higher than Providence, they haven't been cleared for all in-person school, but we feel we're ready. We have purchased HEPA filters and box fans, cleaning supplies, extra masks. Of course, it'll be difficult, but we're ready, and parents, teachers, students should have confidence. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. Obviously, there are going to be glitches, but these kids need to get in school. They've been out for 6 months, particularly in Providence. A lot of lower income kids who will just be stuck at home all day by themselves if we don't get them back into school. So we have to try. And by the way, let me say this to the teachers. I know they're nervous. I understand that. So if you get there and things don't feel right, then tell the principal, tell the superintendent, we'll make it right. We'll make it so that if on day one you don't feel safe, let us know. We'll work together. We want teachers to feel safe. We want them to be safe.
So the walkthrough inspection debacle, a lot of it was semantics. But since I want to say that Wednesday news conference, the unions coming out, people coming out saying, I want this, I want that to feel okay. We want to see checked boxes on each classroom. Have there been any changes to these walkthroughs since those concerns were brought forward?
The walkthroughs have been excellent. They're not quite done. They'll be done this week. They are quite thorough. They last more than an hour and a half, 2 hours. And there is a long 3 pages of checklists, and they go through one at a time. Now, if the thing is, the walkthrough isn't everything, right? Like, they have plans. They have every school district has a plan which has been approved by the Department of Health, which have very detailed plans. And they've been working on that all summer. The walkthrough is just that. It's a walkthrough to check the boxes to say, yep, what you say you're doing in the plan is what you're doing here. And if the walkthrough reveals, it's not quite good enough, well, then we help them. Then we're helping them to get ready. So I think it wasn't ever meant to be the one silver bullet, but it's, a little extra precaution, so people should have some confidence.
And I'm not sure how far up the chain it goes, but have you heard of any schools being taken offline saying we can't do this because of XYZ?
Some of them, yes, but so that's what they're doing this week. So I did see some of the reports last week. There are a few schools that the team thought just wasn't ready, so they're getting them ready. They ordered more fans. They're finding an isolation room that might be a little bit bigger. They're, making more provision. So it's not like a pass-fail. It's more of this isn't quite good enough. How do we get it better?
And you're confident that, it's things like, getting the box fans shipped in within X amount of time. You think that stuff can happen? I
do think so. I think they have to have, it's around, do you have enough masks in case the kids forget theirs? Do you have an isolation room? Is it a big enough isolation room? Is there a place for kids to have lunch where there can be enough space between the kids? It's just, facilities.
So first day of school for the students, I think one thing the parents really want to know, because, as planners, they want to have, people want to know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know, but Monday morning, what will you be doing? What will Rye, just tell me about that morning.
I would say everyone will be a little bit nervous because we always all have first day of school jitters, even in a regular year. I think this year that'll be doubly so. Parents will be nervous. But what I want to tell parents is it's going to be okay. We've been working for months to do this. We have an outbreak plan. We have a testing plan. We have enough masks. We've been doing this for 6 months now. We've had kids in childcare for 4 months very successfully. So I suspect there'll be confusion. There's always confusion. Drop-off will be different. Pickup will be different. You're going to have to record your kids temperature or, some kind of a symptom check. The kids will have to wear masks. People will be nervous. But we're going to do it. And I suspect in a week or two, we'll get in a new rhythm and the kids are going to be flourishing.
So we're always looking forward, but I do, since this is our last weekly sit down as of now, I want to talk about the last couple of months. So with distance learning, we looked back, everyone said that, we made it all happen sooner than some other states. This portion, the return to school, what was your biggest challenge, and how would you grade the response? Would there be anything you would have done different?
So this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Bringing kids back to school in person in the middle of a global public health pandemic is really hard. Except we know that allowing them to stay home is even worse. I mean, that's what makes this hard. Again, like so many things, two bad options. Put the kids in school, where we're going to have our challenges, or let them stay home, and then they get sick, mentally ill, behind in their schoolwork. It's just really tough. So we decided the right thing is to put the children in school, and then to take every precaution we know how to do in order to reduce the risk that they'll get the coronavirus. So, I think we're doing about as well as can be expected. As I look around the country, I can't find anyone who's doing it much better, and we're constantly helping each other. Well, I feel proud of Rhode Island. I feel really proud of the superintendents and teachers and parents who've been working hard to make this work, the coaches, the Interscholastic League. I'm proud of us. This is no one's ever done this before. This is a once in 100-year public health event. I'm proud of everybody for saying we're going to do it. And what I would say to parents as we begin, and to teachers and to kids, have a can-do attitude. Every time you start to think about, how are we going to do this? What about that? Stop and try to come up with a solution. People said, we're never going to be able to test 5,000 people a day, but we're doing it. They said, we're never going to be able to get restaurants open, but we're doing it. We're going to do this too. So I'm confident, I'm optimistic, and just let's have that can-do attitude.
And talking about learning loss, I know this is a lot of information from RIDE, but about 1,600 students were held back. This was, until they had the chance to make it up this summer. That's compared to about 2,200 the previous year. What have you advised these districts to do when it comes to combating learning loss?
Yeah.
And what do you want to see? Because, we know that this could impact years down the line.
Exactly. That right there is the right point. What we're doing to these kids now will have lifelong effects on them. We know that. So the first thing is get them in school. The children who had the most learning loss are those who are at home, alone, on their computer, trying to teach themselves. That's really not the best way to learn. So get them in school. We're going to be offering more tutoring. We're going to be making sure that we maximize the learning time. Kids missed a lot of school in the spring and in the summer. So we really have to make sure that every minute counts once school starts, whether that's in person or at home. And we are also going to be measuring the kids and their progress, hoping to catch kids who are falling behind. So we can, like I said, have tutoring or one-on-one distance learning to help kids make up for what they've missed.
What is the latest with conversations with districts that were saying, distance learning or nothing? How much communication do you have with, Warwick, Cumberland, Tuckett?
Most districts are doing the right thing. East Providence is going back full in person. Really everywhere is going back full in person, except, as you say, Cumberland, Warwick, and then, of course, Providence, Central Falls, just a few places. So most places are doing the hard work required and getting the kids primarily back in school in person. And I'm hopeful that places like Cumberland and Warwick will come around. I'm hopeful they'll see everyone else doing it and being successful. The other thing, too, which really weighs on me is religious schools, Catholic schools, private schools, they're all going back in person. And that's just not, fair. If you can afford the tuition, your kid gets to go in person. All kids deserve an opportunity to have a high quality public education. And that means in person for the most part. So for those that are leading the way, I want to say thank you. For places like Pawtucket or Warwick or Cumberland, I'm going to continue to work with them and encourage them over time to go ahead and get the kids back in school.
And just going back to buildings, because that's just the talk of everything,
yes,
physically going back
yeah.
for the next week. I am sent, and I know your office, everyone is sent photos and photos of a lot of them in Providence, some other districts too, of classrooms that these districts or these teachers and families say, that's not ready. This is a deep cleaning. Would it be possible that I want to show you just one of those?
Sure.
I'm wondering, so this is from the group Safe Return to School RI. More post-deep cleaning classroom photos coming out of PVD schools. I verified that these are actually from PVD schools. And it's photos like these, dirt in the hallways, things like that.
Yeah.
That come in, what do you want to see?
Many of the schools in Rhode Island, in Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, East Providence, they're old. They are very old. 2 years ago, I led an initiative to have a, huge school building bond because we need money to rebuild schools. And I've been a leader on that, and we desperately need that. These schools are falling apart. So those schools there show that. These are old buildings. They need to be rebuilt. The fact that we have a team going through to disinfect for COVID and the walkthrough says you're clear, it doesn't mean you're going to have a brand new school with shiny windows. They are old buildings, and that is the way it is until we can build new ones, which we're working on. But in the meantime, what we're saying is they've been disinfected for the virus. So people shouldn't expect that. If your kid is in an elementary school that was built in the 40s and is seen better days, that's going to be the same thing when you go back this year for COVID, but it'll be disinfected. A lot of people are saying that, by the way, which is, but you said they've been inspected and we're ready to go, but still the paint's chipping or there's rust on the window, and it's an old building. It was an old building. It's going to be an old building. So that's why we need to build more schools.